Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. Today I want to talk about what to do if you're dating someone under 25 and they break up with you. I'm focusing on this age group because under 25, your brain isn't fully developed. And so the way they make decisions isn't usually logical. They're known for being fickle and flaky. And that's actually both the good news and the bad news. It may be one of the few times in life when the good news is the same as the bad news. And why is that? Because they may break up with you just all of a sudden out of the blue, seemingly for no reason. But because they're fickle, then they may decide to get back with you again for seemingly no reason. And so that's both the good news and the bad news. I remember when I was in my early 20s, like it was just yesterday, but obviously it wasn't. And I was seeing about 2 or 3 guys, and I emphasize seeing them. I wasn't having sex with them. And then I met this Romanian guy named Christian. And I just thought he was the best thing I'd ever seen. He wore a suit that impressed me when I was in my early 20s. He worked for IBM. And so I stopped seeing the other 3. And I saw him for a few months, and then I'm not even sure how it ended. But I do remember afterward thinking that I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to stop seeing a bunch of people just because I meet one person that I really like until I'm in a secure relationship with them. And so it obviously didn't make sense that all of a sudden I meet someone and I stop seeing the other 3 without seeing what's going to happen with the other one, right? But again, in your early 20s, you see a shiny object and you're like, oh, shiny object, and you're distracted. And then you go over there, and then it doesn't work out, and then you go somewhere else. So people are still discovering what they're into when they're in their early 20s, what they like, what they don't like. And so you can't, in a way, really blame them for their actions because, again, their brain isn't fully developed. So how do you survive dating someone in their early 20s? Well, you have to keep it fun and upbeat and light. And as long as they're having fun, I'm not going to say that they're not going to break up with you because, again, if they see a shiny object somewhere else, they might. But you can't be too heavy with them, too heavy-handed with them and get too upset because it's just not going to work. Again, they're almost like children. They were just teenagers a few years ago. And so they don't always know what they're doing. Most of the time, you can't really build long-term plans with them. And I know if you're listening to this and you were dating someone under 25, that you're going to be upset. But statistics show that, especially if both people are under 25 and they get married, their chance of divorce is 80%. You're just too young to be getting married under 25. And if you're older and you're dating someone under 25, what I've seen usually happens is that even if you get married, at some point they're either going to cheat or they're going to break up with you because they're going to feel like they missed out on something and they see their friends having fun and they want to make up for lost time. So I would warn you, be very cautious about being serious with someone under 25 in terms of thinking that you want to marry them. I mean, date them, and if you can get past 25 and they still want to be with you and they still want to marry you, that's great. But marrying someone under 25 most of the time, in most places, yes, I know there are places where people get married under 25 and it works out, but those are the exceptions. More often than not, I'm seeing that people contact me for coaching and they tell me that, they've been married 10, 15 years, whatever, and then I find out that their partner was in their early 20s when they met them, when they got married, and I say, well, that's part of your problem right there. So if you would like private coaching with me, you can contact me at theartoflove.net to find out about the rates. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you for subscribing. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.